Hello, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
Hey.
Paulie made it.
Yeah.
Everybody. Somebody's YouTube.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to hit that like button.
That's cool. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Tonight, our guest is Koro Werks, and the co-host for tonight is Paul Sotero.
Hey, Paul.
Thank everybody for taking time out of their evening and come watch us. Like always, this is easy. I just go. Let's see here. We'll get the hellos out of the way and we'll get started. We got Why Are We Always Yelling? Koro Werks, Muppet, Eddie, Master Aquatics, Dennis Christensen, Richard Reynolds, Red Laser, TJ Autocross, Fish Rumor. I'll be seeing you next month, hopefully. Let's see. We got Linda Worth, Larry D. That guy's awesome. Can't wait to see him again. Carlos Diaz. Oh, Susie Q. I'll put people your way. She's going to be streaming next in about an hour or so. And she's actually going to be streaming from her vacation. That'll be interesting. We got the Jenny
That's
Lynn.
dedication.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I wouldn't do it. Only Oscars. Holy cow. Here's a blast from the past. What's up, Mike? How you doing? And then we got Steph. Yeah, yeah, you ain't lying. That's definitely some dedication because
That's dedication right there.
I know if I was vacationing, I'm not doing that. Especially whenever I was on the cruise. I didn't do that. I'm gonna move you up, bring him down so people can see that tank that he has that on. Because this, I'm a cheap bastard, so I don't pay for it. This is free. But I'm a cheap bastard, so I don't pay for it. This is free. I know, but I'm a cheap bastard. Free. It's Paulie's. I know, but yeah. So, anyways,
Did I get caught in a loop there?
Yeah, you did. It was the Matrix.
Okay.
It was in the Matrix for a second. So, how long have you been keeping fish now?
Recently, like this time around, it's been almost a year since I set up my other, not this tank. This tank's been going since January. But my big aquaponics setup across the way has been going for almost a year now. When I was it kind of depends. My first foray into serious fish keeping was probably when I was 14 or 15, and I started getting into aquaponics and specifically rosy red minnows, like the fathead feeders.
Yeah.
You can keep them outside year round. They're really easy to breed. You just give them a little cave, and the males they take care of the babies, right, and the eggs. So it's super, super simple. And they're cheap.
Now, them rosy red minnows, that's one you're talking about. They sell for like feeder fish.
Yeah, exactly. At Petco, in the where the tank is this wide, and they got 200 in there.
Yeah. And then they wonder why they have issues.
Yeah, but so those guys, if you can find a bait shop that sells them, you're probably going to find more that are the darker fathead minnow color. It's the same species, but you get color morphs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those tend to be the wild types and such have a little bit better, they're more hardy. You know what I mean? Better genetics. Or more diverse, something.
Well, I used to keep rosy reds in my goldfish / koi pond.
Exactly. They do really well in ponds.
Yeah.
And so that's what I started with. And then from there, I got started working volunteering part-time at a fish shop that has since closed, unfortunately, because that means that I got to go I don't know, 15 miles instead of like 3,
Ugh.
which is 15 miles. Oh, you got to go so far to the fish stop, but you know what it is. Um, but so I volunteered there for a while, and he got me started breeding guppies. And so I got a bunch of tanks for free on Craigslist and had a bunch outside. Eventually, I like had a play structure, swing set and a little fort, and we put a bunch of those corrugated plastic panels on top and sort of turned it into a greenhouse. Did spray foam insulation on all the corners, and so we had guppy tanks in there, and I was breeding guppies from both feeder guppies for stock and like the turtles, and then was showing me how to do guppy, like what you want to look for in guppy colors and the how to get the different tails and things like that. But shortly after that, I had to move and abandon that whole setup. The winter was really hard, and I didn't lose the guppies, but I lost the turtles and my Oscar. And so I was really not feeling the aquarium hobby as much. When in the move, I lost my axolotl because it got too hot.
Yeah.
Um, and that was another big loss, emotionally speaking.
Yeah.
And I kind of never really got back into it. After I moved, the like third time some of my big tanks got broken that had been sitting dry and empty. And when that happens, you're like, okay, well, let's give it a few years before I spend any money on that again.
Yeah.
And it's been a few years now, so I'm getting back into it.
I can relate to that because like you, I was a teenager when I first started, but mine was like a tank this size.
Hmm.
But back then they were like 39s instead of 29s.
Yeah.
And because of the military, I stopped because I wasn't going to deal with that. And then for me, it's been since 2018 I started back up, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's a lot. The hobby's matured a lot in a few different ways, but it's also just a lot like, I don't know, it's very soothing to keep fish.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's very relaxing. Like for me, like for a job I have, it's nice because I don't really accomplish anything. I don't work with my hands like I used to,
Hmm.
and so I'm keeping something alive. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it can be a challenge at times too.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's for sure.
how many tanks do you have up and running now?
I would say 2. The paludarium doesn't really count. Um, it's that's made up of 2.5 gallon the rimless aqueons, but they've got like a bottom. They've got the black plastic around the bottom, so you don't need a leveling mat, which is nice. But they're
Oh,
rimless on top. And so I've got 2 of those with like a little land bridge, but I don't know that that's really. It's not really balanced. And like there's sponge filters in there and everything, but I don't know. Every time I do a water change, like mold pops up, and if I don't do a water change, I don't want to do that because I don't want to kill everything in it. It's a very small setup, and I've got right now I pretty much only have Endler fry in the one, and then I have beetles in the other, and the beetles are doing really well, um, and the plants are doing pretty good, but it's a high humidity setup, and mold is something you got to worry about and take care
that's
of.
that's I saw that of what watched your video of
Yeah,
the Beatles.
they're cool. I'm not positive whether all of them have died and been cannibalized or whether some of them escaped and just died because they couldn't find anywhere. I tried to build a pretty solid lid setup for it, but I don't know. I found one in my water change bucket this morning, and I was like, "Oh, did you escape or did I suck you out of the?"
Yes. Do you
Perfect.
have Do you have any kind of um, circulation, air circulation in there, ventilation in those tanks? Because if you did, you're
Outside of the air pump pushing air into the sponges, not really, no.
okay. Because the mold is probably because you're not getting any circulation and air
Yeah.
circulation in the tank, and that's just.
I do think that's part of it. I've been looking at some things I want to do. I want to grab some like little USB computer fans and put some of those on the sides, I think. And then like window screening, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because if you're just got a glass lid on that,
Oh, it's not glass. I have like a plastic greenhouse dome that goes up
Okay.
like a good 1.5 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not,
Yeah, 'cause you're not moving any of that moisture out of there.
not enough, no.
See, that's something I never really got into was them paludariums. I've seen quite a few people that we know have them.
Yeah, Jimmy's doing a paludarium contest coming up. Hopefully, assuming everything goes well.
That'd be
I don't.
nice. I don't know the first thing about that.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm trying to also keep the humidity high because there's some of the beetles need that high humidity, and then the moss, my sphagnum moss and everything, is doing really well with that high humidity. But the springtails are not, and that's the other thing I got to worry about. If I put ventilation in, I have to worry about the springtails escaping because they're little jumpers. But I obviously need to add it because mold.
Well, you're just going to have to. I'm sure you can figure out a way to
It's a happy medium.
Something.
Yeah.
Could you like, since you said it's like a dome that goes over, I don't know, could you cut a hole, put the fan there, and then maybe have one side of it with another hole screened and it just goes in and out?
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking, to like force some air through. I know a lot of people use filter floss as a way to keep the springtails and things out but still have airflow. So I could probably build like a you know how you get the filter floss in a sheet that you cut with scissors?
Yep.
Yeah.
I could probably put that in front of or behind the computer fan if the fan is on the outside.
That's possible, yeah.
You might want to do, instead of the floss, because that might constrict the flow on that fan and burn it out.
True.
Use a coarse sponge.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You can get them in the sheets.
Yeah, no, I have some.
Yeah.
I got a sump, so I just have way too much filter media.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can just put that coarse sponge in front of it, you're probably going to be better off.
That makes sense.
Or just get a fly screen and do that.
Yeah, because you can get, I mean, you can even buy Micron sheet like screening, the silk stuff for like t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get all
or some old pantyhose.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
The pantyhose might be the cheapest and easiest way to
That'll
go.
probably be the easiest to get a hold of, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, just go to the dollar store.
Exactly.
You don't even have to worry about if it's flesh tone or not. You can get black.
Yeah.
Get white. You know, it does.
Yeah, they sell it in every color.
That's it.
You can get hot paint.
A lot of people use that to put aragonite or crushed coral in and throw it in something.
Yeah.
It's very versatile on a lot of things that you can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't see it say like antimicrobial this and that on the package, right?
Yeah. Basically, all you need to do is a little stick it to the dome with a little hot glue, and once it falls apart, scrape it off and cut another piece and stick it up. You're still only out $1.
Yeah, no, that shouldn't be bad at all. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because hot glue, you can just take a plastic butter knife and it should pop off. That's a good idea. So you said in that paludarium you have beetles. What got you into doing that? Because whenever I saw that, I was like, "This is interesting. I got to ask questions about it." I've never seen it before.
I follow this guy. Well, so there's two people, but I don't know when I found bugs in cyberspace, but they used to be based in Portland, which is the greater metropolitan area nearest to me. Um, and now they are based in Arizona for, I think they bought property out there. It was probably a cost thing. But they catch a lot of insects and sell them online, bugs in cyberspace. But so that's who I ordered my stuff from, and they post a lot of interesting things. I don't remember if it was when I was reading about the isopods that Grant. Oh, do you want me to go press it? Oh, yeah, they look good. Yeah. So I was reading about the isopods that Grant Eater sells, right? The aquatic isopods, and I think that's probably how I found bugs in cyberspace, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
But Aquarimax Pets a few months ago, Russ, who's someone else I follow because he has a lot of good information on setting up bio active terrariums and things like that, and just kind of the concepts around building a cleanup crew, which can be translated into aquarium use pretty well, even if you can't use those species. And he got like $260 or something like that worth of bugs and did a live stream where he was unboxing and showing how well they pack everything and all these different aquatic beetles. And then he was showing the tank off with just these beetles swarming over the top. And, I can't afford that. I've probably spent $100 on livestock in that tank now because I lost some and I wanted some that weren't in stock later. And then once you're buying something, you want the shipping to be worthwhile, so you keep buying more.
Yeah.
But
You got to justify that box.
yeah, I did.
Right.
I think 40 some dollars the first time when I was getting, I got their like starter pack and then a couple other beetles in there. But that was the Aquarimax Pet video was definitely where you see all those sunburst diving videos, beetles swimming on top, and they're the highlight of the show for sure. The sunburst diving beetles are super cool.
Oh, he hit a button. He'll be back. There's a couple other people that came in. We got Nathan. How you doing, buddy? And then Monster Fish Gal. Thank you for showing up, posting links already. That's what you do. And then we got FishFam.link that showed up. I don't know. I saw that short, and I just thought that was pretty interesting because I ain't never seen nobody. Well, of course, all I look up is fish stuff. But whenever I saw it, I was like, and then he was feeding them flightless fruit flies, and they were just coming up and grabbing them. I thought that was pretty neat. You hit a button, didn't you?
Actually, I mean, maybe, but I touched my phone, and that either like connected to the internet or I'm on the complete opposite side of the apartment from the router, and my partner just started the shower, so like maybe the water got in the way of the Wi-Fi signal or something.
Okay. Didn't
I don't
bounce
know.
back. Then we got a couple other people came in. We got Liquid Zoo Only Fins. We got Merrick T. Thank you all for showing up. So I was just saying, filling in some space that I saw in that video. You were feeding them flightless fruit flies.
Yeah,
Is there other stuff that you feed them besides that?
just fish pellets. So I don't know how well that's visible, but those are the sunburst diving beetles, and they just look so cool. They're really active, and I don't know if I could have only that species, and there's like a smaller scavenger beetle that has the same pattern on it. They're like scavenger beetles have kind of a really humped back, like a ladybug almost. But
And are they full aquatic?
Yeah. Well, so they don't have gills, right? They
Right.
come to the surface and grab a bubble of air and
Uh-huh.
then keep that bubble until it depletes. Some, so like water scorpions don't have gills, but they have so much fine hair on their exoskeleton that, and they like do this thing where they rub their like little arms together and catch bubbles out of like the biofilm and everything like that, but they never surface. They just have this thin coat of air around their whole exoskeleton all the time, and it has sufficient gas exchange with the water that they don't need gills and they never surface for to I mean theoretically they never surface. Obviously sometimes their oxygen content is too low or something and they might have to, but it's not some like you could keep one for its whole life underwater.
So that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's like an alien. Like, that's crazy.
Or like we talk about the dragonfly larva a lot in our aquariums because they're a theoretical pest, right?
Yeah.
They
Yep.
have gills, but it's in their anus.
That's a great way to be breathing.
Yeah, so they have like their thorax is pretty hollow and they will suck in water from there. And then when there's prey nearby, because they mostly just stand still on like a leaf or some twigs and wait for a small fish or something to swim near them, or different, like they'll eat those diving beetles. If I threw one of those in that tank, all the other insects would be gone in a day. Uh,
Hmm.
and they close up the tail end of their abdomen and they clench their whole abdomen and they have these tubes and all that water that they've been using to breathe, they have these tubes that connect to their jaw, and their jaw juts forward and grabs that, and it's like a pneumatic piston. They squeeze all that water up and it shoots their jaw forward to grab into their actual mandibles.
Oh, wow.
And that's how they can catch things that are so faster than them and everything, is because they don't actually like chase after a fish. They just grab it with like literal pneumatic pistons.
So they're ambush predators then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm learning so much right now. That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they're scary, to be honest. Like when you watch videos, there's like some Discovery Channel videos or something out there on YouTube, and you watch these videos and they've got like Jaws music in the background and you're like, this is goofy. Look at this silly little like dragonfly with its big bulbous eyes and whatever. And then it's like, and it has a whole fish that it's like chomping down on all of a sudden. Oh, gives me the chills.
So what? Okay. So now what fish do you have then? Uh,
Right now, I have El Tigre Entlers that I was lucky enough to get at the Guppus swap a couple months ago. I have in this tank that we're looking at zebra danios, which you can probably see the most of. They're the little guys. Oh, got an arm.
yeah.
Uh,
They don't stop swimming.
they don't stop
No,
swimming,
no, they're nonstop.
which is they're the best for that. You got one Florida flagfish, male, who I want to get maybe two females for so that they don't get picked on too much or harassed. And then I think 5 or 6 emerald corridors.
Aeneas.
No, I think it's Brocus splendens.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what I mean. They're Petco, so who fucking knows? But
Yeah.
sorry if this is a family channel.
That's all
I
right.
will watch my. And then so in the other tank I have El Tigre Endlers, Chopre Danio that I was Boots Cats and I like went in half on a box to save on shipping, and they survived in their little bags, individually packed, for like a day and a half before I made it out to her side of town. So I can vouch for Dan's packing, and she didn't need to add any heat packs or anything. She just left them in the box and closed the box back up after she took her fish out, and I didn't have a single death. So super
Wow,
cool
that's
there.
pretty
And I mean,
amazing.
Danios are not the hardest fish to keep alive. but can vouch
Well,
for his
still,
packing.
I mean, being in that bag that long, you know what I mean? Like a day and a half after 3 days of shipping. That's pretty
Single
good.
night shipping, right?
Oh, overnight. Okay.
Yeah, but still, they did pretty well. And there's a bunch of, like, I don't know. I think I paid for 40 shrimp, but I swear Grant and Shelby gave me like 80. There was so many shrimp in that bag. I don't know. There was so many shrimp in that bag. It was a lot more than I paid for.
And what shrimp are those?
I just got the wild type Neos, so
Oh, okay.
I just wanted a bunch of color, and I wanted them to be relatively hardy. I didn't want to deal with putting a bunch of, like, I've had good luck with I like the red Reelies a lot. And I had good luck with Shrimp Envy is the food brand. I can't remember who it is in Eugene, but they have good stock, but the stores near me don't have that good of stock, or whatever it is that I'm doing with my water, they just die in a day or two, or like a week. And that's just, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of shrimp and have them all die like that. And it's actually cheaper for me to pay shipping or hit that $100 mark and order from Grant and Shelby than it is for me to go to the local shop. So
yeah. Well, and that, do you know what your water's like?
Not off the top of my head right now. I did just do a water change, but I haven't tested it because I was going to let it settle for an hour or so.
Well, you'll know whether, like, out of the tap, is it like, okay, do you have well or are you on town water?
I'm on the city water.
So it's more likely soft then.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of, we don't have super hard water up here. It's all snow melt, basically. It all comes from streams and everything, or rainwater reservoirs.
That's what I have. So it's going to be soft.
It's pretty soft. I know that I have aragonite in there, but I haven't replenished it in like almost a year. I got that 2-3 weeks into setting that tank up, so we're coming up on a year since I threw that bag of aragonite in there. I doubt that it's putting anything in. I don't do a ton of water change on that setup. It's got a big aquaponics grow bed in the top, and it's got a deep substrate, like 10 inches of gravel and sand and soil and sand, and leaves. I had a layer of leaves in there, but yeah, I don't do a ton of water changes on that tank. I do when it starts to get bad, or when there's, like, today there was a fish die off, and it's probably just a male that was getting bullied, because that's what, endlers like to argue with each other and do that thing.
Yeah.
But
so do you have any, and do you think that you'll be expanding your fish tanks, or are you good with what you got?
I'm currently working on a pond project. I want to put it on wheels and have like a little, I'm going to build a frame for a 27-gallon tote. And that frame is going to have sheet insulation and maybe some spray foam to help support the sides and everything. And then I want that frame to be on wheels so it's easy to move around. But we're moving in like 3 months. So I might finish that pond. I might just decide to postpone it till next year. I don't want to, but I might have to. And I don't feel comfortable setting up a new tank when I know that I'm going to have to move it again in 3 months.
Yeah, if you got to move, yeah,
that might be something for next year.
Yeah, so that's something that we've been.
I mean, that gives you a lot more time to plan it out too, and you don't have to go and buy all the supplies at once.
Yeah,
you can eventually work your way up to it. That's interesting. I don't know of anybody that has a pond on wheels.
Well, I mean, you do it with a plastic tub, so it's got some flex in it anyway. So if you got to move it, you can move it. But what I would use is I would use no less than 1/2-inch marine grade plywood if you're going to have water around it, Because
I'm gonna use pressure treated wood and then cedar fence boards.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So
That'll-
they're not the most weatherproof, but I've got
at least it'll look nice.
yeah, it'll look nice. Or I was also thinking about doing like pressure treated for the frame and everything,
Yeah.
and then putting galvanized steel on the outside because that'll be reflective and that'll help keep the sun from warming the tank up too much. I was thinking, but I don't know. Fence boards are also kind of reflective.
Yeah, what I would also use is get yourself some rigid insulation.
Hmm.
Put that right behind whatever you're going to face it with, and then spray foam in the gaps between the tub and the
Yeah,
rigid.
because
And
the tub has like kind of an angled wall to it.
yeah,
So I'm gonna get that like 1.5 inch or 1.25 inch pink like sheet insulation. You know the stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
you
regular
just cut it with
insulation you
a
put in the
razor.
wall.
yeah.
And then, man, you better phone a friend and see if they have any laying around because that stuff.
It ain't cheap. The other thing you can use instead of spray foam, get yourself some rock wool insulation.
Yeah, you know what you can use rock wool for too?
Filtration.
Growing plants. Yeah, filtration.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but you use the rock wool for that, and you're not. It's basically it's inert, so you don't have to worry about it off gassing.
Yeah, because rock wool is what? Basalt?
I don't know. It's rock wool.
Yeah. I think
I think they get a rock sheep and they shear it for the wool. I don't know, but it's rock.
Yeah,
wool.
that might be one. I thought it was like they made it in a big like a cotton candy machine, but at the quarry.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's good. It's good insulation.
Yeah.
You like that, huh, Skip?
That's good. Turn a rock in the cotton candy maker and you get rock wool. I like that.
That's it.
That'd be sweet. Boy, if it was
Oh,
only
man.
that easy. We all have a crap ton of rock wool. So what's your bucket list fish?
Oh man, I swear I find a new one every day.
Yeah.
Most recently I was looking and I saw Cold Water had these, what are they called? Blue spotted sunfish, and they look
Oh yeah, they are nice.
really cool. And I found a place that sells them for not that expensive out of Florida, and they sell them.
Oh, he's gone again.
That poor fella. What's this picture you want to show?
Oh, I picked up 4 of those yesterday.
Oh man, those are some nice biscuits.
Those are red heckles.
Oh, okay. You said you found them down in Florida.
No, yeah, that company is based in Florida,
Okay.
where they sell fish for like aquaponics and aquaculture farms. So I don't know what your minimum order size is going to look like, but they ship them in boxes to you. It's not like you have to order a full fish truck.
How big do they get?
The blue spotted sunfish get like, I think 4 inches max. So they're not that big as far as a sunfish goes, but they're bullies. They're sunfish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right? So
Smallest I'd put them in is a 40 breeder. You might even want to go with 60.
yeah, I don't have a tank that would fit one right now.
Yeah, that's a project.
But I think, given how much of a pill this little Florida flagfish is, because he's a pest, I don't think I need something that the Cold Water Aquatics, Brandon has had all of his flagfish picked off by that blue spotted sunfish. So
Oh, yeah, they'll lunch. They're nice lunch.
yeah.
Yeah, flagfish are. If you look up the definition for SOB, you'll see a picture of flagfish.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was thinking. I saw that Brandon had them together. He posted a video like 4 months ago or something like that. He had them together. And I was like, oh, maybe I could set up a bigger tank and plant it and get some more Florida flagfish and throw some of those blue spotted sunfish in there because those are really pretty. And Brandon's like, no, all my flagfish are dead.
Oh, no
The
kidding.
sunfish ate them all, or picked on them enough that they died from stress.
I
Hi,
had
Lovin.
a bait tank. It was 100-gallon too.
Yeah.
And I had sunfish in there and chubs. And they
Yeah.
ended up just killing them chubs off. Like it took them a while, but like you could tell when you threw food in that tub how aggressive they are. And if something was in its way, they
Yeah.
didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's what people say about, all sunfish, cichlids, rainbows, right?
Well, with if you want it,
Yeah.
and once you get settled in, see if you can pick yourself up one of those Rubbermaid totes,
Mm-hmm.
100-gallon. That'd be perfect for the sunnies. You could keep it's relatively easy to box them in and insulate them, but
Yeah.
you'd be able to grow the sunnies out in it, and they don't have to come in. Just get some air circulating in there, and that's it. There's not much that's going to get laid in that pond that they're not going to eat. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Assuming I have the space for a.
yeah. But the 100-gallon tote isn't stupid big.
No, it's manageable. I wouldn't be able to bring it home on my bike, but.
No, you definitely somebody will have to hold that for you.
But what's nice about the Rubbermaid ones is they've got a good drain on them, where some of the other ones the drains do not hold, and
sometimes they're not threaded either.
Yeah, they're not threaded correctly. So, and what you could do with that Rubbermaid tote is you could actually run a piece of PVC through it and use that as circulation. You could actually run it out and back in.
Mm-hmm, like an undergravel type deal.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Wow.
My dog just told me that.
The dog is pretty smart.
He's just got a big head.
The only downfall with that, though, is I found for me is you don't really get to enjoy the fish.
Yeah, when they're outside or when you can't see them from the side. That's my worry because I want to put the Chopre Danios, the glow lights, in my little 27-gallon pond that I'm building. But then I won't be able to see, like, I'll see their eyes.
Well, what you can do is what is great about that is for breeding. Okay.
Yeah.
I found for me, like I had oh man, it's a white cloud. I just lost the name. But anyways, I had it out in my pond last year.
Mm-hmm.
They came up, but they had color, right, when they're at the top. You know, like the difference with the sunfish is their colors are on the sides.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's more because it's a camouflage on the top because when they're out in the wild, the bird have a hard time seeing them, right? So
yeah,
with that, you would definitely want to put them on display because you don't see that. Okay, I don't see that sunfish all the time. I can't order them, I don't think.
No, if they're, you might be able to, but if they're technically like a game fish in your state or something, it might be all sorts of complicated.
Yeah, panfish is a big deal around in Pennsylvania.
And I don't know that I don't know that it's legal for me to order them here. I know they'll probably ship them.
Oh yeah.
But
a lot of places they check that too, which is good.
Yeah.
There for a while, I was going to get blue lobster, which is a crayfish.
Yeah, the like self-cloning ones, right?
No.
Oh, the other ones?
The other ones.
Okay.
And I was so excited. I had it lined up. I was getting it from somebody out in California. And then I found out we was chatting about it on one of the live streams. Somebody that lives in Pennsylvania came up and said, Skip, don't do it. They find out you'll get in trouble. I'm like, what? It's because
they can survive the winter.
they get in, and what they do is they go because they're a bigger crayfish.
Yeah, they
Is
outcompete.
they kill the other ones and eat them.
Yeah.
Because I did finally look it up, found it because it's so hard. It's so hard in the state to figure out what's illegal and what's not.
Well, and they got these big lists, and you can go through the list, and then they got the fish listed by common name, and you're like, well, which snail do you think is a mystery snail?
Yeah.
Because there's like 4 different snails that are called mystery snails, you know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like we don't even have a list. I can't find it. I went as far as going to a ranger station,
Oh yeah.
and no, it wasn't ranger station. It was the no, it was the main ranger station
Yeah.
because I wanted to know. I said, listen, I want to go out and collect fish. What am I allowed to do? Well, you can get bait fish, but you got to have a fishing license.
You got to have a fishing license, and then a lot of times you have to have a
collecting permit.
Yeah, either a collecting permit, and those are specific to the waterway a lot of times, or you got to get in my state, if I want to have bait fish, I have to be registered as like a trophy competition, like a trophy fish competition, and I have to get a license because otherwise we're not allowed to use live bait in our waterways.
Oh,
yeah, which is good, right? Because that means that I
yeah.
can't pick fish up from one waterway and move them to another waterway and fish with them, and then like I lose that minnow off my line, and it's off in some new waterway where it's not endemic. That's what they do in Idaho. You're allowed to pick up fish in any waterway and then use it in another waterway.
Yeah, bait. There's like see here a lot of the bait fish that we use.
Yeah,
they live here anyways.
Exactly, but there's like, so we've got a bunch of fish that at some point in time, some pioneer or other was like, oh, let's stock this lake with rainbow trout or something like that. That is not. That's how pumpkin seeds got to this side of the to the west coast. Pumpkin seeds are endemic to the east coast.
Yes,
and we've got them in every lake and all over the place now. Same thing with bluegill. Well, bluegill are endemic, but you know what I mean. They got to the east coast the same way. People would stock their lakes with whatever trout, and then they breed or outcompete the native fish, and then we use their minnows as bait for like whatever it is, and then all the brook trout are crossbred with hybridized with rainbow and steelhead and everything else now.
See, the whenever we have trout season, they stock our streams with trout. Mm-hmm. They don't breed. They don't breed.
No, because that's not where they hatched. They don't come back up that waterway. But the brook trout might interbreed with one of those rainbow trout. And they do when they're in enclosed waterway systems. If it doesn't connect to the ocean easy, if it goes to a lake or a reservoir first.
These streams go to the lake.
Well, the other thing you have to watch is birds. Birds carry fish eggs on their legs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that makes sense.
The nursery I worked at, we drained all the irrigation ponds because they had to reline them and dredge them out. So, man, it was a god-awful stink. And so basically all the fish died because he didn't care. He just drained the ponds. Whatever was in there was in there. Once they were filled back up again, there was fish back in there within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, not all of that is. I mean, most fish don't have killifish eggs that dry out and then rehatch.
No, they were coming in on the birds. They come in the bird foliage and whatever, and there was fish back in there. There was the hell we have in there.
Are you familiar with fingernail clams? Because that's the same thing. There are these clams that you'll find them in isolated ponds that the only other critters in those ponds are like fairy shrimp and daphnia and things that would get eaten if they were connected to a river, right? There's no predators. And you find these tiny fingernail-sized clams. And these ponds, like in the forest or something, that are seasonal, they fill up with rain, and then a duck lands in them, and they've got these little tiny clams clamped onto their feet. And the clams let go, and then they eat Daphnia and whatever, all the algae that's in that water, in that pond with nothing in it. And they clamp onto the feet of birds.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's just
interesting.
like duckweed and everything else, you know?
Huh. I never knew that.
Yeah, I read about them. Are you familiar with Goliad Farms? He's like a
Yes.
guppy breeder,
Yes.
cichlid guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has a post about them in he like found them in his tubs. He was like, "There's clams in my tubs. Where did these come from?" It's the birds.
Oh, you're talking about his concrete. Oh, okay, yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
he's got his whole system is he's got water running underneath the floors.
Yeah, he has like a big basement sump thing going on, and then it like catwalks that you walk on.
Yeah.
He's got his sump is all underneath his ponds. He's got all sorts of wild fish underneath there that he just goes in there every once in a while and takes them out and sells them.
Yeah, and like every couple seasons, they might have some flooding or something, and who knows what ends up in that pond in the flood? Could be all sorts of fish.
Well, and then that poor guy had that issue. Was that last year, 2 years ago when it got real cold down there?
Yeah, yeah, with the snow and everything and the rolling blackouts.
Well, it froze, and it got so cold there. We're talking about the guy in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He
Man, I was
scuds
watching
and
them
everything.
videos, and I felt so bad for him because, man, think about that. You have this cichlid farm.
And it was dialed down.
Man, it was perfect. And then this freak weather comes in and wipes a lot of stuff out.
Well, he got hit with a hurricane first.
Yeah,
He got hit
right.
with a hurricane
I don't mean to
first.
laugh. It's
I forgot about that.
He got hit with the hurricane first because I actually went down down to Houston. My friend's son was getting married, and we went down like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks after the hurricane, and there was still stuff flooded. And then that winter they froze.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, so that would have been 2 years ago.
yeah.
I didn't know he was that close to the. Well, he didn't have to be that close to the Gulf because it went pretty far inland.
Yeah, Harvey it was Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
That was a crazy year.
Oh yeah, that was a bad year for a lot of fish keepers because a lot of people in that winter had.
Well, it wasn't.
Had a bunch of issues with power outages and.
Didn't Sandy hit up north not that long before or after that?
No, Sandy was a couple of that. Sandy was like
a couple years before that?
2013. It was
Man, I don't
2011.
Well, yeah, but that was very devastating. Though,
No, I
because-
wasn't in high school when Sandy happened.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
No way.
yes, 2011. Listen, I'm from there. My in-laws have a house on the Jersey Shore. I know. I went through all that crap.
What year did you say?
I don't know.
Paul?
Was there another
It was
one that
11.
hit New
I
York?
think it was 11 because it was. I retired in 14.
So Harvey. Okay, so Harvey did hit New York. That she's shouting that Harvey. Maybe I'm just thinking that because it hit. I know that it hit the Gulf Coast, but
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, Harvey hit it bad, and then they froze. And I was working for a large nursery down here in Carolina, and once Texas got hit with that frost, all our supplies that would have come up from Florida in the early part of the season made a left turn and went to Texas. We couldn't get anything.
Yeah. That's rough.
I couldn't get any plants.
But no, Sandy. That's when I hit Jersey. Oh my!
I was blacked out for 10 days.
Yeah.
I'll
No
never forget
gas?
seeing that on TV.
No gas. It was like the oil embargo all over again. All the gas stations were shut down. When I was pre-retirement, I was at UPS. They gave us gas so we could show up for work because there was no gas. Nobody was pumping gas. UPS had the generators and the gas tanks. They
have them on site.
On site. So before we left to go home, everybody would go in the gas station and fill up. It's the only time UPS gave us something for free.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. hurricanes are they're crazy, and I see the videos and everything, but it's also so distant because it's on the complete opposite side of the country for me. I just can't conceptualize the amount of devastation that occurs. You see it on camera, but it's yeah. So one of these days, the earthquake is going to happen, or we're going to get hit by a real. I mean, I won't get hit because I'm on the other side of the mountain from the tsunami, but Astoria will get hit, and the place that I used to go growing up.
Well, we were having earthquakes out here a couple years ago in Pennsylvania. They were so small, but still, it's
we're like on the geological time scale, we're like 350 years overdue for a big earthquake over here. And who knows, it could be another 80 years before it actually happens. But I grew up my whole life being told by every teacher and everything like that, like, no, we're not joking when we say like the big one is coming. Like, one of these days, the earthquake that hits Oregon is going to be worse than what we saw happen in California, where like the highways are torn in half and everything. It's going to be just like the San Andreas fault.
Stay where you are. You'll have oceanfront property when that happens.
Yeah, you know, you're not lying.
I see you, Fishy Mon. Yeah, it's crazy. But at least he's bouncing back. You know, a lot of people. Well, you even had the floods down there. What's that? Down in Florida. What's the breeding one down there? Oh man.
What, Imperial?
There's a lot in Florida.
Florida is loaded with it. But that's why all those fish are in the waterways, is because when those hurricanes come through, the way they
they want to blame the hobbyists, but
I mean they used to dig a ditch and throw the fish in there. So whenever the hurricanes came through, all these fish would end up in the waterways.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Well, and like, I don't know, you'll find cows miles away just perfectly fine.
That is crazy, isn't it?
You know, after a tornado or whatever,
they're staying up on this one piece of dry land that was not touched. I've seen that in a flood. We had a flood around here that one year, and it was going through this cow pasture. There was just one dry strip, not the cows lined up on it. I'm like, boy, they lucky. Luckily, they sleep standing up, so they'll be okay. It's crazy. But yeah, we got 5 minutes left. Boy, that went quick.
Oh no,
time flies when you're having fun.
Oh yeah, this was great. I want to touch on something real quick. Thank you, Koro, for being our guest tonight.
Yeah,
but not next Saturday, but Saturday after, which is June 17th.
June 17th.
We will be doing the Fish Fam auction again. What was that, Thursday? I was like, holy cow, the 10th's coming up too quick. We ain't got enough time. But I like to have a little bit of time. I don't like rushing anymore. So we made it June 17th at 8 p.m. East Coast time. If you are a fish breeder, you know how to ship, and you want to distribute out to the Fish Fam, the money goes to you. It's all yours. We don't ask for nothing. We just like hosting it. And one of the things that I really like about doing it is the different fish that I'm getting to see. We've had some different fish that I've never seen before. I'll give you an example. Aquaria Life with oh man, she's going to kick my butt. Her pleca is...
Steph, what pleco was in the last auction?
The 236. Thank God I got notes because I can't remember. The L236. And then I actually got to see them up close and personal whenever I was up your way, up there for Fishtoberfest. Whenever I was at Kenny's house, I actually bagged.
Yeah, I just missed you there. I came the day after I couldn't come for all 3 days.
Yeah, because I left Monday, I think it was.
Yeah. I came for Alex's talk. on
was
the
there.
third day. You were there for that? Maybe we just like ships in the night.
And I was sitting in there.
You were sitting?
Yeah, I was actually in his talk. It's crazy.
That's weird. I don't know. I wasn't really part of the Fish fam. I only really watched Alex at that point. I think I started watching like shortly after because everybody was like, there's Bob and Kenny and everyone were there, and I was like, okay, yeah, more people to watch. Great. Ian was there.
You want to see some different fish? You go to his house. Holy cow! That's
One of
nuts.
these days.
Man,
He's got some big tanks he needs moved around. So when that rack gets set up, I'm probably going to go over and help him so he doesn't slip a disc.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need a Kent in it, right?
Yeah.
No, he can't touch tools. He hurts himself.
Oh, every time.
But yeah, so that's one of the great things about it. So if you're interested, it's right here in the chat, fishfamauction@gmail.com. Let's see.
Hey, Skip. Fishymon just sent you a nice little message.
Yeah, I said hi to him.
No. He says, I just got here. You want to touch me?
No, not really. He would like that. But we'll go with we'll say the 12th, Monday the 12th. If you're interested, let us know by then.
Yes, Lady R, I probably am.
I wish I could. I'm only doing one event this year. I was very fortunate enough last year to do 3. I can't push 2 again this year. I won the third one, so
everything takes time and money.
Oh,
that's it.
This traveling stuff, I don't know how people do it for a living.
I'm not even going to the one here in Carolina. Damn thing's in Charlotte. It's 4 hours one way. It's 4 hours.
Listen, see, that's easy. I do that. I go to the Clash, which is almost straight.
Yeah, but you're staying. I'm not staying. This is like one day. I'm going to drive 8 hours to hang around for an hour and a half.
I'd do that. I'm just crazy. I'm just weird like that. Well, heck, I drove out to Jason's house for a day, and that's 4 hours.
Yeah, but Jason's interesting.
Did he at least buy your lunch?
No, I bought my own. No, I didn't make him do that. Actually, it's funny because we went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Boy, it's been a long, long time since
Tuesdays and Thursdays, they got buy one, get one wings.
I forget what. Was it during the week? No, it hadn't been a weekend because he works. But so anyways, it's 7:00. Everybody head over there to Suzy Q Aquatics. I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. The mods, lurkers, replay crew. Also want to thank Paulie for being a co-host tonight, and Koro for being our guest tonight. You guys have anything to say?
Paulie, you're a wealth of information. Thanks for,
Yes.
Both in chat and
old. All it is because I'm old. I've done
accumulated wisdom.
Well, they say the reason why you go bald is because your brain's getting bigger.
It's hot. It's too hot. Can't grow anything up.
Yeah, it's overheating. He needs like a radiator on top.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.